Alright guys, I'm Doctor McFarland. Welcome back to the channel. This is going to be the last live stream of the year. At least for Headrush anyway. I might do another one after Christmas sometime. But as far as right now, this is going to be the last Headrush live stream. This is for the HTS Rigs course for December 2025. Pretty sure it goes all the way back to like 2021. When I started doing these live streams. Before that, there were viewer suggested Headrush rigs, and that got me into a lot of trouble because I was playing audio from other music, off of YouTube on my stream, and more times than not, you get your video blocked, or you get your channel demonetized, or just all the stuff. So, with all that said, and without further ado. This is a Doc Revalver only rig. So I put this together only using Revalver stuff. I'm pretty sure, so the C-Verb is not technically Revalver only, but, it's pretty good. And then we have things like, where did my comments just go? Let me fix something real fast. There's that. Let's see what else is in here. We have a compressor, the Greener, which is a Revalver version of the JRC, which it sounds pretty much the same as the JRC. So, not a huge, mind-blowing difference there. I'm trying to find the comments. Interview, chat. Interesting. I can't find my chat. Well, anyway, if you want to leave me a comment, I will find the chat box eventually, so you can I can see what you're up to. But let me know your name, where you're from, and what kind of Headrush do you have, how long you've been playing. There it is, comments and reactions, and we'll have some fun tonight. So I'm going to show off this rig right here, and then you can let me know what you want me to build moving forward for this stream. Let me scoot this over. You can kind of see everything. All right, so I hope that makes sense, and we'll just have some fun. So we did have some added functionality in the 5.0 Headrush update, and what that functionality is we can now assign, not only can we assign the expression pedal to the wall, which I currently have it set to A, but you can also make it to where the on-off state of that pedal is, you have to go to auto engage, and you can make it be off position to set to toe up, toe down, or stop. So let's just experiment real fast and see what this sounds like. So the off delay is going to be, if it's on 0 milliseconds, it's going to be almost immediate, which maybe that's what you want. So you can see I'm moving my foot right now. You can't see, but my foot's way down here, like on the floor. You can see my foot moving the parameter, and as soon as I stop, you can see the effect up here is now being bypassed. So, okay, see what's happening though is as soon as I stop moving it, then it's going to want to turn off immediately. So I'm going to set a off delay, and milliseconds kind of works in like 1,000 milliseconds is 1 minute, not 1 minute, 1 second of time. So I'm going to have it be like, let's try like 850 or so. See, when I stop moving, though, it turns off. So that's pretty cool. I like the 850 milliseconds. That's fine with me. I like the sound of this wall pretty good. It's not too bad. Let's actually change the assignment to make it be toe down. How about that? So once my toe is down all the way, that's when it starts turning off. Bridge pickup. Okay. Let's see what I have going on here. That's a Z1F. It's actually not correct. I do have some new cameras here I'm going to be utilizing in the new year. This is a Sony ZV-1F. So this is a little handheld thing. It's got a flip out screen. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to have a view over here and a view over here, and I can switch between them. They're really my last option if I really want to get fancy, is to get one of those stream deck options, so I can just assign all my scenes in Ecamm to a switch, and it'll make it a lot easier for me to change scenes just by going over and hitting the switch instead of using my mouse and trying to do all this kind of weird stuff with it. So yeah, we'll just go with this for now, but I'll go back to this one. Okay, so the reason why I went there in the first place is this is the Jetstream Retro Blast, so RB for Retro Blast pickups. This has a rosewood fingerboard. What do you call that? Tortoiseshell pick guard and nice roasted maple neck. And it's just a nice classic shape and feel and sound. So that's the guitar I'm playing at the moment. I might switch it out for the Sensei or one of my other Kiesels or something later on. But as I'm showing off this rig, I want you to let me know your name, where you're from, and what other rigs you want me to build for this last hurrah for the year, okay? Now, one thing that's kind of neat is on the C-Verb here, which I can show you when I change my scene, is what we have here is the my preset is the reverb file is the MRNT2A back. So what that is describing is the sound of this space right here, and I was able to before I moved everything in and put all the carpet and couches and whatever else, I set up a speaker right here in front of my window. Then I put a microphone, different places in the room, and I used Logic Pro and their reverb plug-in to essentially make an IR of my room. So what you're hearing right now is the sound of my studio, which is actually kind of cool. And on my previous iteration of the website, I actually had these files for sale, and I can still put them up for sale on my current website, but I found an issue to where the C-Verb does not want to load some of the other options that I have, and I just don't know why that would be. So, let's see. My room. Yeah, MR is my room. Now the Building 7, this, see how it's not giving you any reverb? I just don't know why that is. It is a waveform. What up, Brian? Welcome back, the 18-wheeler trucker guy. Hope you're staying safe out there, and you can come off the road a little bit and spend some time with your family or friends or whoever. But yeah, that's the issue with these building waveforms is, I mean, they're no different, I think, than my other files, but it is what it is. So what's cool about that is you can just load up your own impulse responses into that C-Verb, or there's multiple ones from Headrush that you can find that if you like it, then you can just keep using that. I just love how that is the sound of my room, and I was able to capture that. Especially with my drums back here. I don't know if you can see this. It's kind of dark, but you got my drums back there. I could technically play and record my drums and then add the room reverb as if they were being recorded in this room without all the stuff mucking it up, if that makes any sense. So there's that. go. As soon as I stop moving, or as soon as the toe is down, then the wah pedal turns off. So now the only parameters you get with the C-verb is you have the tails, the dry, which is how much dry signal you have. I can turn that all the way down. Which is pretty interesting. Then we have a low pass, which is going to cut off the highs and pass the lows. We have a high pass, which is going to cut off the lows and pass the highs. Then we just have a wet parameter here that's going to blend in. Stuff like that. Now I'm using the web editor because it's just having something at your feet and then trying to put a camera on that, and it's just hard to have you see the screen and the whole pedal board and how I'm using it. So using the web editor is just easier and more convenient for making videos in that regard. Now for the compressor or the presser, another parameter that was added is they have now a block mix option. So what's really cool about this, and I've been waiting on this for a while, is you can really crank up the sensitivity so you can get a lot of spank and a lot of compression from your sound. Let me, do I have the compressor set to, yeah, I do. Let me bypass that with my foot. Okay, turn it back on. Okay, so there's a lot of compression going on there. And what I can do is just dial this back, maybe like 50%. And now we're going to get half dry, half wet. Just let it ring out a little bit. Okay, so as the dry naturally wants to, start dying off in the decay, the compressor portion of it will keep the sound going just a little bit longer. And since we have that 50-50 blend, we're getting half dry, half wet, and a little bit more sustained than we usually would. But we're also not getting, we're not cutting off the attack of the note as I play. Okay, I'm going to turn down this reverb just a little bit. But as I talk, once again, I just want to make sure you know this is all about you guys. So I want you to tell me what amps you want to hear, what pedals, what order, all the stuff. Then I'll build it for you here live, and then just kind of give you my suggestions and my thought process behind how to build rigs and the kind of sounds I kind of go for typically, and maybe it can inspire you to build your own. Okay, so with the compressor on and it also being 50%, if I turn on this Zen drive, which we can look at the parameters here, we have a tone, a boost level, a gain, a level. We can have the boost on, like that. We're going to have it set to overdrive. Then there's a fat EQ or a vintage EQ. So if I turn this overdrive off, this is what we got. Okay. And it's not doing anything. So now I can turn that on. So essentially we have an overdrive side and we have a boost side. I can choose to turn the boost on. Okay, I am playing through a super clone of a Flat Hill TA Tweed, and these are just the default clones that come with Headrush. I didn't use my own or use anybody else's. I just literally just chose what was already available in the Headrush when you download the update, and I think this clean sounds really good. So, okay, going back to here, we'll crank up the boost level. Okay, and that's a good concept to think about and to remember when you're building rigs is you have a certain sound on the amp, and then you can use a boost or a drive pedal into the front of that amp. We call it goosing it or diming it, or just, pushing more volume input signal into the front end of the or the input of the amplifier. And now you're taking that tube section, the 12AX7s or the 12 AU7s or whatever you have in the preamp section, you're just hitting it with more and more signal, and then it's driving those tubes harder, and that's how you're getting the breakup that you hear from tube amps, okay? That's why clones are very popular, and tube screamers, and just like normal boosts, treble boosters, stuff like that. So anything you can use to get more input volume to the front of the amp will essentially just allow you to get more gain and dirt out of the amplifier. So okay, here it is with the boost off. Okay, hear how, we don't have anything going on there. So we really, with this pedal, we have a boost side and we have an overdrive side. So now I'm going to turn on the overdrive side. We have a fat EQ or a vintage EQ. So let's check this out. Okay, now the tone is at 43%. Let's just crank it all the way up to see what we get. I'm going to take my foot off the expression pedal so the wall pedal doesn't keep turning on. That's with the tone all the way up, and we got a lot of. We don't have it's not too bright, but it just adds a little bit of push to the top end. Here's with the EQ on vintage. And with the EQ on fat. Okay, now turning on the boost, this is what we get. Okay, now that's really, really good gain staging there. And that's just with the one pedal. So what you're going to want to do is, let's see if I can rearrange my assigns here. Now you can also set up scenes for all this if you want to, but let's just see what we're doing. So we're going to go to this one, which is the 1024 IR, which we don't technically need on a switch. We'll go down to the Buddha Zen Man, and I want my boost pedal to be assigned to right there, okay? And then this was assigned to the overdrive. So let me move this up. Let's actually do it this way. Okay. We'll do that. And so we have our overdrive, then we have our delay. We can also change the name of this if we want to. I'll just leave it the way it is. So now let's make sure this is going to work how I want. Okay, that is turning on my boost, but not without the pedal being on. Okay, so I essentially have the boost either on or off, and then I have the overall pedal being turned off, okay? Now I could also just have the overdrive turned off. So here's the pedal with the overdrive off and the boost off. And actually kind of went down in volume, didn't it? So what we're going to have to do is just make sure that we want the overdrive on, and then whether the pedal is on or off, that's regardless, but overdrive on first. And And I'll bring down the level just a little bit. Maybe even bring up the gain to like 25%. So here's the boost. I'm going to turn down the boost level just a smidge. And then overdrive off. Okay, so when you bypass the overall pedal, you can leave the boost on, and it's not going to, it's not going to engage until you turn the pedal back on. So that's just a few different things you can do with that. You can also assign the overdrive to a switch, so you can have the pedal being on, but the overdrive still not engaged until you turn it on, and then the boost is still not engaged until you turn it on. So you can almost say that the pedal is always on, and then we're just going to take the overdrive to be either on or off. So let's see what that does. I'll show you the options again. So we either have on, which is what it's currently set to, or we're going to have this set to overdrive, which that's what I'll do with that. Okay, so now check this out. I'm going to have the boost off. All right, so at this point, the pedal is engaged, but I still don't have the overdrive on. But I can turn the boost on it by itself. And I can prove it's still working by cranking up the level. Right, stuff like that. I feel like there's another Buddha overdrive. I think this is based off of the Zen drive, possibly. I'm not sure. So we can turn the boost on or off, and we can now turn the overdrive on or off. I'm going to find a different riff to play because I'm getting tired of that one. So all of that. Let me see what happens here. All right, so we're actually losing a little bit of volume with that being on. So what we're going to do is go to our output gain and just kind of boost that up by like 3 or 6 dB or so. So let's check this out now. Maybe that's just within the nature of the pedal. It just naturally wants to go down, but I'll boost it even up to like 6 dB. And that's actually really cool because what's happening here is we're able to add more input gain and also output gain. I could technically bring the input gain up. Let's just try that out. Let's just boost this up by about 6 dB or so. Okay, then we'll bypass it by this. Then we'll turn the overdrive on. Which may, since I boosted the input, it may be driving the input of the pedal more. So that's interesting. Then here's the boost. So I just want you to understand that you can get a lot out of one pedal, especially if it has that many options. So we have pedal engage on or off, but then we also have overdrive on or off, and then we have boost on or off. Now on top of that, notice how I have a green JRC in front of the Buddha overdrive. So now with the pedal off, I got this. Then green overdrive on. Okay, I'm going to rearrange my assigns here. So tremolo is going to go to the top. and my analog delay is going to be there. I don't need the wall on a switch, so I'm going to turn that off. I technically don't even need the compressor on a switch. I'm just going to leave it on the whole time. So now we got stuff like that. So this is pretty good. I'm liking this one. Okay, also notice that I am only dealing with the clean channel of the super clone. So let's go to the key of G. It'll take me down. That lick was not in the key of G. Here's the overdrive side. Okay, and then I can turn on the green JRC. Andrew was in the house. I am not using the Towmaster. This is the Headrush. This is actually the Prime at my feet. I did pick up another Headrush core over a few days ago, or maybe on Friday, I think it was. And just because I needed something a little bit smaller for studio stuff. And I will be selling the Headrush Prime. I did pay for this with my own money, so I didn't get this. I didn't just get it for free and then try to resell it. And I pay for the core with my own money. So I just don't need the size of what the Prime provides, even though it is kind of nice having the extra switches. So I'll hang on to it for a little bit more. But I do have the Headrush core over here if I wanted something smaller that fits those needs. So notice that we have a lot more underlying sound because we have so much gain going on. So let me show you how you can fix that. Go to your input block, and then we're going to turn up the noise filter. So it kind of cuts out some of that high-end stuff, and then we're going to raise the gate. Maybe to around like 82 or 80 or so. So now when I play, now stop playing, then I have zero noise. So I've gotten rid of the noise by using a little bit of a gate action going on there. And I'll actually save this as a preset. So we're going to call it Doc Gate. Not to be confused with Watergate or anything. Andrew, I have actually purchased the John Mayer plugin, and it is really, really good. It's kind of a one-trick pony. You're getting the John Mayer sound for sure, but it's not for everybody, and it is a little pricey. So if you are going to buy it, I probably recommend just waiting till it goes on sale and not buying it brand new, or just download the 14-day trial and try it out that way and really see if you like it. But I just figured, hey, it's a cool plugin, and I'm sure John Mayer gets a cut of it from the sale of the plugin, so it's worthwhile for me. I think it's a cool plugin. So, all right, so that is the Zen drive. I guess is the Zen. I'm not actually quite sure. I really wish that would stop doing that. It's the Buddha Zen Man. So it's doing something for sure. And then we got the greener, which is the JRC. We have the presser. Now moving on, I have a little switch down here, an AB switch. It's actually switching between the top and bottom rows of my 1 amp block, because I have an A and a B path right up here, or not a path, but just an A and a B. So now the B version is giving me the Bogner Shiva. Okay, this is just a killer amplifier. All right, now since that Zen Man drive is on, I can choose to use the boost. Stuff like that. And I can even say, let's just make sure the boost is all the way up on that one. Okay. So once again, it's taking an already overdriven amp and it's just goosing it even more in the front end. I can also turn on the overdrive side of that. All right, so lots of cool options there for gain staging. Here's the green JRC, or the greener. I gotta get off that riff. I've been listening to the Killers all day. Sorry. Okay. Now I can choose to go in here and let's say I want to bring down the gain a little bit so it's not as juicy sounding. I don't want it as juicy sounding. I do have the cab off because I'm already using an IR, which is just one of the, I think this is the Morgan 1x12 Alnico something or others with a 421 and a 58 on it. So it's just the Headrush stock IR that comes in the unit. Let's see how this sounds with the gain down a little bit. So one thing that you're going to find is if you already have too much gain on the amp, boosting it with a boost pedal or an overdrive of some sort, you're really not going to hear the effects because you can only really have so much saturation in a signal before just all the boost just gets washed out and it's just all for naught. So most of the time on a high gain amp, I will turn down the gain a little bit, and so that allows me to actually turn on a boost if I want to later. Okay, here it is with it off. That also allows you to kind of live in that crunch territory without going full lead just yet. I do have the chug up. I can bring the sag up a little bit if I want. There's the full sag, and I'm going to bring it all the way down. Okay, turning on the greener. Okay, here's the overdrive side of the Zen Man. That sounds a little weird. Here's the boost. All right, so between the clean and the overdrive amps, then the two sides of the Zen Man, and then the greener, there's just so many different colors and layers and sounds, and also the different pickup types in your guitar. You can just get a plethora of options for really any gig, whether you're playing jazz, maybe you're, let's do a little jazz thing here. So here's the neck pickup. yeah, whatever. A little Pat Martino kind of deal. All right, what else do we have? We have a tremolo in here. I do have that assigned to a switch, so there's that. All right, now with this one, I'll have to show you what I'm doing. So I am bringing down the output by 7 dB. And the reason why that is when you engage this pedal, it definitely adds a boost, and it also adds like a little extra sparkle to the sound. And you may not want that. So you're going to have to go into the block parameters or the block mix, or I guess just the block parameters, and just lower the gain by however much it needs to, kind of level out with what you're doing. So all right, stuff like that. I did listen to a behind the scenes making of Under the Bridge by Red Hot Chili Peppers today. So that's a cool riff. I like that riff a lot. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, I like that one. And then the last one is, what is this? This is the M104 analog delay by Mooger Fruger. So this rig right here, if you own the Prime, the Core, or the Flex Prime, it does not require any extra downloads or anything else. Just load it up, and you should be ready to go. So if you want to help support the channel, then I will have this rig and all the other rigs I'll make in this live stream on my website very shortly once the live stream is done. And you can download them and play around with them and make the presets your own. And you also have access to all the previous live streams and rigs that I've built, and also all the ones I will have in the future. So it's just a one-time $30 fee, and it just goes to help support the channel and what I do here on YouTube. So that's a pretty basic rig, honestly. And like if I was playing what I was playing yesterday at church, I mean, I mainly just stayed on the clean sound the whole time. And I might have brought in and out the delay like once or twice, but that was on the Fractal FM9 rig, by the way. But same concepts apply to the headrush here. If you just need a good clean sound, then it really doesn't matter what it is, whether that's a Princeton, a Deluxe, a Twin, a Vox, a Mashless. Just pick something that gets you in the vein of clean to like slightly on the edge of breakup kind of character that you're looking for. And just worry about playing the part. Just play the guitar. Don't. I think it's very easy for maulers to get a bad rap, because you literally just sit there for hours and just twiddle with all the different parameter settings and trying out and auditioning different amps and different pedals and whatever else. When at the end of the day, you really just need a clean, a crunch, a lead, maybe some delay, a little bit of modulation, and let the guitar part do the talking, and let your fingers do the talking as well. So now you might be asking yourself, okay, I like that sound, but maybe I don't like the analog delay. Maybe I like more of a digital delay or stuff like that. So just take what we have here and literally just make it your own. So I'm going to save that, and that's the Doc Revalver only rig. Let's go ahead and just make a brand new one. Totally brand new. Never been created before. And I want you the viewer, to give me some suggestions on what you want to hear and see, okay? So I'll give you a second to gather your thoughts and finish up your dinner with your family and whatever else you're doing. And I'm actually going to switch out guitars, so that'll be fun. Let's do that. Now, speaking of Mayer, and now that I have a single coil type guitar in my lap here, we can try to recreate the John Mayer sound. So let's go ahead and do that. That'll be fun. So I know one of the amps is definitely a Vibrolux of some sort. Let's just go into the head rush option, and we're gonna find the Black Vibe is a Vibrolux, pretty sure. And then we're gonna go choose an appropriate cab. Let's do like a Black Lux on that one. It's like a 1x12 kind of deal. All right, so right away out of the box, we have a pretty bright sound. There's a few things we can do. We can go in and use like a ribbon 121. Okay, I'm also on the bridge pickup. Let me go to the neck. All right, a lot of low end in there. Let's go to like a 409 microphone. Man, I love this thing. All right, now what we can do, we do have the bright on. Let's see, we have output level. I'm going to look at my setting here. I'm going to turn up my faders just a little bit. We actually have good level going on the output here. Let's just see what happens if we push the volume a little bit more into like the 65% range or so. Okay. Now, on the pedal board, this is what we have. We have some drives, and we're going to bring in. He definitely had a some kind of Marshall blues breaker kind of deal. Okay. So we're going to have that be on default. We'll adjust our settings here in a second. He also has a tube screamer. Let's just do the J or C. Also make that default. Bring the drive down. We'll make sure that's set to green. It's never... I'm going to save that as my default sound with the level all the way up. Okay, let's do a Klon. So a K drive. And the level's down, the drive is down. It doesn't have to be too high on that one. All right, I'm feeling like this amp is a little too crunchy. Let's just bring the amp level back down a little bit. Now, what's cool about the John Mayer plugin is it's actually using 3 amps in series, or I think it's in series, maybe parallel, whatever they are. But each amp is adding its own little character. So what we can probably do, let's say I'm going to go 2 times. This is going to be stereo doubling. which is going to give us 2 separate amps. And I'm just going to go in and add a, let's do like an MS-30, like a matchless kind of deal. Okay, just to give us something a little different. And what that did in my headphones is it actually spread it out, so it's more of a stereo sound. And then let's go add a reverb, which will make a spring reverb. Just a good stereo. Now, something else that we can probably do, go to our output, and our rig width, we're going to make it 0. Maybe we'll make it 0. Let's turn down the mix. Maybe we won't make it as 0. Let's spread it out a little bit. Hear how you're getting that stereo effect right there? It's pretty crazy. Okay, let's do a little rig volume bump. Alright, so we got some drives. I know for a fact that he has a compressor in there, so let's add a comp. Buddha comp. Let's just do the presser. There is a gray comp in there. Let's do that. Let's do a gray comp. We'll bring down the level, down the sustain. Bring down the block miss. Okay. I'm actually not even sure. Yeah, this should be the public build. So, I'm actually not going to do the gray comp. Let's delete that one. Let's just use the presser. The presser on this. There we go. All right, so sensitivity down, gain up. Let's use this in the middle. Once again, all right, going back to our amp, what do we have going on here? We do have the bright on, which I'm going to turn off. Okay, with the John Mayer plugin, you're actually able to isolate each amp individually, and then you can turn them all on at once. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring my high cut up, bring my treble down a bit. Maybe boost that volume. So we have a really clean and then a slightly gritty on one side. How about that? Okay, this is a little low. Let's bring that up. All right. Now, one thing I noticed in John Mayer's plugin, actually, do I even have it downloaded? I feel like I do have it downloaded on here. Let me go check real fast. Let me go check and see what I got. I'm gonna look in the Neural DSP folder. Now there's the Fortin Cali suite. All right, I don't have the John Mayer plugin downloaded, but I got it memorized, folks. Don't worry about that. If you're still watching, I still need more suggestions, so let me know what else you want me to build in this stream. We've been going for about 52 minutes. I don't want to go too long in this, but let's finish this up. So what you're going to get with the John Mayer is let's put a delay before the amplifier, okay? And what that's going to give you is some slapback kind of sound. let's see. Let's do a. They don't have anything too crazy in here. Let's do like a pitch delay. But what I'm gonna do is set the mode to 0. We can choose to detune this slightly. And I will bring the sync off, and we'll have the delay be like nice and short. Let's do like a 200 or so. Okay, then we'll bring down the mix. Maybe bring up the feedback. More mix down. We can also put the delay before the overdrives. All right, so you hear that little slap back going on there. Now with the Marshall Sheriff, the blues breaker essentially, we can have this fairly low gain, nothing too crazy. It will hit each amplifier slightly different, so okay, so here's an option for that delay. Let's go ahead and turn it off. Here's the Sheriff once again. Okay, we can also have on the plug-in, we have the Sheriff and the Tube Screamer shared in the same pedal. You just have to switch the toggle to one or the other. So this is what the Tube Screamer is going to give you. Okay, so there's that. And then now we're going to bring in the K drive. So adjust the level accordingly. Nothing too crazy on the tone. So you don't have to use this as an actual volume boost. It can just add whatever character that it naturally imparts onto the sound. I'm actually going to change something here. If we really want like a dual amp, let's make it to where the split is like this. So let's go, let's do it this way. Let's not have that going on there. We'll have the cab be here. Maybe the cab be at the very end. How about that? Then we'll have another amp here. Let's go back to our amps. We will do the, I mean, there's really nothing too dumbly in the head rush. So once again, we'll just do the MS-30. Let's hear how this sounds. Okay, something like that. We also have a mix in the middle, so we can pan these. All right, we also have, we can just put them back down the middle. Maybe I don't want them panned that much. So we are getting both characters of the amp. Let's turn down, we'll turn up the cut. Somewhere around there. And we do have the K drive on during that time. So there's my clean sound. And then K drive again. Which might be too much. Let's bring down the drive on this. Bring up the level. Okay. Sheriff. Let's make sure this level is all the way up. So not too much gain, but we are giving a nice boost in the sheriff kind of way, and then we have a JRC. And that one also is all the way up. Okay, so we can stack these. We can do stuff like this. And then we can also have the K drive on. Sheriff. Okay, stuff like that. We are going to need a Q-tron. So let's go find our, let's see, wall and filter, a Tron filter. Let's just see. That's not what we want. Let's do a default. Okay, let's see what we got. We got some resonance. That's a fun riff to play. Let's see what these other modes do. It can also be used for like a lot of Grateful Dead type stuff. From what I've heard, I'm not a big Deadhead and Company fan, but that's a bandpass mode. Here's the high pass. So it's a little too high. We'll make it 12 again. Okay, we got a little fatness going on. Let's bring it all the way down. Okay, maybe turn on some sheriff. So when you think of John Mayer, I mean that's typically something that you're going to want to bring in there. Let's go to our assigns. I don't need the pressure to be on or off. So let's go to our filter. Have that be on. So now that's on a switch. So that's good. And yeah, let's add a little bit longer delay. And we will have a... let's just go with a dyne delay here. Stereo. We'll bring down the mix. Always bring down the mix to taste. Maybe bring down the ratio. Change the width. Maybe not. Maybe we do want it to be wide. We are in sync, so I can tap this in. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is definitely loosely and roughly inspired by John. So not, we don't want anything too crazy, but let's just go ahead and go full bore on the copyright strikes. Let's just bring in I used to jam to John Mayer backing track all the time. So this would be fun. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's not do that one. Let's do let's bring in our drums, which you can't see, and okay, I don't want that. I just want a good basic I wish I could adjust drums on the screen. That would be pretty cool if we could do that. Doc John Mayer. Okay, let's see what we got here. We're going to change the style to Rock S. Maybe. Forgot what key I'm in. Here's the K drive. Nope, stop. I just noticed that I don't have my delay set to a switch. So I need to be able to turn that on and off. So what we're going to do is go back to our assigns. I don't need the spring reverb on a switch. So we're going to do the dyne delay and have that be on. There we go. Okay. So all that was a really cool 5.0 update from Headrush. If you like the jam with drums and you don't want to pay $2,200 for a Stadium XL, which may get drums in the future at some point. I swear, I mean, the Headrush at $1,000, you just get so much stuff available to play with. It's just really nuts. The sheer amount of features that the Headrush has for the money. So you got a drum machine, you got vocal effects on there, so you can plug in your microphone, whether dynamic or condenser. So it has 48 volts of phantom power if you do want to use a vocal effect. What else? We have a practice tool. We have a looper, auto tune on there for more vocal stuff. We do have some synth effects in there, which is kind of neat. And this is literally just nuts. So let's play with the drums a little bit more again. Here we go. Yeah, there you go. Pretty cool stuff. You can change kits, you can change styles, variations. You could add little accents with your foot as you're playing. All kinds of stuff. Liz is in the house. What's up, Elizabeth? I hope you have a Merry Christmas as well. Hope you're staying safe out there in California. I think that's where you're from. California. It's good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you. So there's a John Mayer-ish, very-ish type rig. Let me go ahead and save that one. But as you can see, like you're trying to look at either their board or just listen to their overall sounds. And if they got a clone on their board, then by all means add a clone. If they have a tube screamer, some kind of blues breaker pedal, then add those. You know, stuff like that. Let's go with another brand new in here. Let's not have a split sound. Let's go with a straight path. And let's go with another. Now the 25. Let's do the on-1 amplifiers over here. So here's a clean. And if I do another one, which I can't do another one. So you kind of have to, you're going to have to choose between this kind of do like the switch doubling kind of thing. So there's my clean, there's a clean. Let's just make this go to a crunch sound on there. And we can also change it to high gain if we want. Then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to go into our signs and make this into a scene if we want to switch between those two. So check this out. We're going on switch state 1, the switch doubling is going to set to A. And then on 2, it's going to automatically change over to B. So there's that. So now you can see, maybe, and of course I'm frozen. So I've contacted Ecamm about the freezing screen issue, and I really hope somebody figures it out, because I'm so focused on my main screen over here that I forget to look at my actual feed, and before I know it, like the screen's been frozen for like 5 minutes, and I just feel like an idiot. So I am sorry about that. All right, here we go. As you can see on the screen, I am now switching between the top and bottom paths of this amp block. So I got, what do I have? What do I have? There's my clean. Turn my volume up. Here's the bottom path. Oh my gosh. It's really loud. Why is it so loud? Output volume is up too loud. Wow. Yeah, I need a cab in here. That would probably help. Let's do an IR. Let's go with the same Morgan one I was using before. I got quit playing that riff. Sorry. Let's do a little blues. Let's bring in some drums here. Let's say we go down to style. I can actually use the style up and down with my foot, I think. Yes, I can. So, jazz, Latin, metal, pop, punk, reggae. All right, there's blues. Nah, we're gonna have to stop that. We're gonna have to restart, maybe. Okay, let's see what I have to do. What do I have to do? I'm gonna peel this. There we go. Alright, that'll work. 1, 2, 3. Stop it for a second. What do we have here? So we got this is my crunch sound, but I can also let's turn the lows down here. Let's turn the high gain on. The 25-on-1 amplifier is based off of the 6505, which in turn is based off of the 5150, which they couldn't call it that because it was under new management or branding or something, whatever it was. But this is a really good sound overall. We've been going for about an hour, 15 minutes. That's pretty good. Spill a Geek. What's up, man? Don't tell me. Your name is Eric. Please tell me that's right. And if it's not, just let me know where it is. It takes me sometimes a few times to get your names memorized as you pop in every week and watch the stream. So let's see, we got turn the gain up a little bit more. It's Richard, of course it is, and you even have an R in like your little circle name thing. I should remember that for next time. Richard, how's it going, my friend? All right, now in this looper, I should be able to adjust the volume of my actual guitar loop. Whatever. You can adjust the kit level, which is great. right, cool. I'm liking all that. Let's add a little bit of reverb here, just to kind of wet the whistle. And we're going to do room. Nothing too crazy. Mix down. Let's do the time up. Go back to that amp. And let's turn, we'll leave the high gain on, but we'll actually turn the gain down. Now, I saw a video earlier that somebody said that the SD1 drive was like better than a Tube Screamer. I know for a fact that Zach Wild uses it as a boost in front of his Marshall amp. So let's try this one out. So there's that. We'll bring the level all the way up. I'm going to switch the guitars around again because I can. I'm going to go with a little Sensei action on this one. This is my Reverend Sensei. I've had it since about 2018 or so. And it's just a really cool pedal. Yeah, the Fractal AM4 is a really cool pedal. And for $7.99 or whatever you get it for, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck on that one for sure. So I got the burps for some reason. Sorry about that. So yeah, Sensei, really cool looking guitar, and the big block inlays is just yeah, this is great. I might not be able to use it. There's something wrong with the input jack on this one. But I'm using it because the humbucker's here. Let's turn the gain down even more on this amp. Also turn the lows down. Maybe not. Maybe we'll turn the resonance down all the way. I like the AM4 overall. I mean, it's the same sounds as the Fractal FM9 and all the other stuff. I thoroughly enjoy my FM9 just because it has 9 switches and it has 9 different layout or 8 or 9 different layouts, and I'm not having to rack my brain trying to do workarounds to access all the scenes and the presets and the effects on and off and all that stuff. So because the AM4 is limited to 4 blocks, even though I know you can use different channels on those blocks to switch around different options, but yeah, I think if it only had 4 foot switches but 8 blocks to choose from, that would be even better. That way you could utilize some scenes and stomps and all that stuff. But to me, I think just 4 blocks is a little too limited for my my personal comfortability, being comfortable with it. All right, going back to the clean. that sounds good. Let's go with a delay that we have not used yet, or in a while anyway. Let's go with the multi-delay. This is fairly new. Uh-oh, I've already messed it up. It sounds really crazy. Let's turn the feedback down. Tap it in, make sure the sync is on. Man, I love this guitar. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Let's do, let's see what this does. That's interesting. Let's see what this does. Yeah, I agree, Andrew. The FM9 to me is really not that much bigger. And for example, the FM9 is the same size as my Rockboard 3.1 or Trace 3.1. So if you're gonna go through the hassle of buying all the pedals, getting the power supply with the cables and hooking it all up, you essentially have the same size as what the FM9 is, but you just have you don't have as much flexibility. The FM9 is way more flexible. And this is also an all-in-one unit. You don't have to add any extra foot switches. You don't have to add anything else. Just get the FM9 and be done with it, I think. Yes, you're paying double the price. But if you're a home player and you don't need to play out and you don't need the extra flexibility, then I think the AM4 would be more than enough for what you want to do. All right, that delay is pretty cool. We'll just bring down the mix of it a little bit right here. Okay. Once again, we got the S1 drive, which really just works better in front of the overdriven amp. Let's turn that one all the way up, and we will add let's add like a low overdrive option. And one of the new ones is the Jimmy overdrive. So this is based off of the Paul Cochran Timmy. Okay, we'll turn that down. We'll make the clipping be overdrive clipping. Let's turn off our multi-delay. Let's go ahead and add that one to a switch, which we already have it added to a switch. That's good. Let's move this around. Let's move that around. Don't need that. Stuff like that. So we can't put the Timmy after the S1 drive. So when we turn the S1 on, pretty loud. So the Timmy at this point is adding a little bit of gain. We can turn the treble down a little bit, which I think the bass and the treble are actually filters, maybe like low shelves or something. So so that's with the S1 drive and the Timmy together. And then we go over to our bottom amp. Let's check the gain on these. Or just the overall level. So I will bring up the output level of this one just a little bit more. Just make sure we have level matching going on. Okay, we can either turn the top one down, which I think already sounds pretty good. That is set to 14. That's just nuts. Okay, I need to change that, whatever's going on. Pretty good. So we got the S1, we got the Timmy, we got a multi-delay. Let's just add in a more simple delay on this. Let's do an air delay. Let's do like a default ping pong. And it's not that simple, is it? We'll bring down the mix. We'll turn the tails on. We'll turn the sync on. Tap it in. Maybe adjust the width. Adjust the feedback. Turn the Jimmy on. Something's going on with this thing. Let's turn the level up. Maybe put it back on soft clipping 1. Pretty good overall. Let's add an EQ after these amps. And I just want to tame a little bit of something going on in there. Let's go with that EQ. And we're going to cut a little bit of 800, kind of smooth out some of that bark on the high end. Bring down some 6K. You can also open up the faders, so you can do it this way if you want, which is cool. Let's try that. Bypass. Let's make this a little more smiley. Just a little smiley here. Stuff like that. So alright, so we've taken out a little bit of bark that are inherent in the head rush in general. There's just a lot of mid-range going on. So that's without. This is with the EQ. Here it is without. With. Yeah, so just kind of wanting to tame some of that craziness going on. We'll also use the high cut to take out a lot of that high end, and we'll bring up the low cut on the IR. Something like that. Really, what else would you want? I mean, this is pretty good. Richard says shipping A4 was $774.77. That's pretty good. That's a good price. What's going on here? The only thing that I really need for my own personal vendetta, is I'm going to add a longer reverb in here. So we have our always on reverb, which is pretty decent. But I will go to here, I will go to 11, and then go to the extra long, and bring down the mix a little bit. And we got stuff like this. So. If you wanted to, really wanted to, let's just do this. You could keep the drive pedals more in the Boss vein. Do like a BD2, which always sounds nice. Right, definitely get more gain out of it. So we'll turn the gain down, level up, see what we got here. Yeah, so you got plenty of dirt with the drive pedals there. I'll turn down the mix of this longer reverb a bit more. All right, now I can't really live without some kind of tremolo. So let's bring that in. Let's do like the green. Keeping it with the Boss effects. Okay, we'll turn down the depth. We'll turn down the shape. We'll turn the sync off, and we'll make the rate like around 3 or so. Now with tremolo, I can kind of go back and forth. I think it sounds fine before the amp or even after the amp. It really doesn't matter to me. Yeah, with tremolo, I don't really get a lot of difference with that. Now, some people put a tremolo at the very end of their chain, so it kind of just like moves literally everything, like the delays and the reverbs. So yeah, it's definitely a sound. Here it is before all the other stuff. Here how it's more subdued, and the delays and reverbs are able to like keep carry on the effect. Yeah, so I mean either way it's perfectly fine. Let's put that there. Let's add a compressor. Buddha comp. I'm actually liking the compressor just as my overall default sound. Let's turn that off. Then we'll change the block mix to about like right there. Something like that. Just enough to allow the initial attack to come through. Yeah. Pretty nice stuff, guys. Once again, here's with the EQ off. And then EQ on. Yeah, so it just kind of is there to carve out some of that honky mid-range that I think is kind of inherent within the head rush itself. It's there's definitely other, I think the Toemaster Pro is a little more sparkly sounding, doesn't have that mid-range honk that head rush has always seemed to have. But with the EQ, you can always just take it out. So I don't want you to be discouraged on, oh, I got this head rush and I can't make it sound good. Well, I mean, an EQ will go a long way to help shape it to be more of what you think you want, if anything. So if that makes any sense. Let's save this one. Doc 25 on 1. December 2025. Something like that. Let's go and adjust our assigns here. So we definitely don't want an IR in the block. We can have that there. That's fine. Let's put our EQ on the bottom. And maybe we don't need that that one, but we do want the 11 verb added to a switch. Then we'll put our delays over here, our reverb right here. And one more that we might want to add is the tremolo. Let's do the tremolo here. Okay. Okay, let's turn all that off. And let's go make a... let's go back to our drum set. And let's peel this off. And let's see what I want to play. I just tapped it in. Something is happening, which is what was going on in the other live stream. Let me try this again. Let's do this. I'm going to start at the next section of the loop. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, there you go, guys. There's some tones, there's some drums. added in the 5.0 update, and I honestly don't know what more you can really get for $1,000, or even competing with the AM4 pricing there. I mean, you can get a headrest core that can do all that stuff and even more. So it's really about, like, how much money you got, what kind of features are you looking for? Are you like a bedroom guitar player that just wants to practice? Maybe you need that microphone input on the device itself. And the AM4 does not have that. It doesn't have a microphone, nor does any of the other Fractal stuff really have a mic input. I mean, you could argue that the XFX 3 has like an XLR mic input, I think, but as far as like vocal stuff, I think a lot of people are looking at the Headrush for that singer-songwriter quick setup. Take like a small PA and or just like a single speaker with your little Headrush Prime or Core unit. You got your drums already built in per preset. Then you can just start it up, start playing along, create your loops, do whatever you want. But if you're not a loop guy, if you're not a drum guy, then Headrush still provides plenty of other options for what you're needing. As far as recording, I mean, full albums have been recorded with the little Headrush MX5. My friend Corey Lynn has done that in the past. I've recorded multiple guitar parts over the years with my Headrush pedal board, the gig board, the MX5, and now that we have the Prime, the Core, and the Flex Prime, I guess just the Flex if you want to call it that for short. Just so many options in there that you can find your sound and make it do exactly what you want for literally any situation. So that's pretty much all I got, guys. I have wow. Okay. Once again, this is the Sensei from Reverend. Bow to your Sensei. I've been playing this guitar on the channel for many, many, many years. Once again, we also have the Jetstream RB for Retro Blast. And then the guitar earlier, the single coil guitar was the 6-gun TL, which is all pretty nice. And we've been going for almost 2 hours now. Let me grab my bass guitar. Let's do one more build here with some kind of bass rig. Let's do that. All right, so as if I didn't already have enough instruments, I have now, this is a Reverend Thunder Gun, which has that cool Reverend offset body. It has the raised center block kind of look and feel. And it's just, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool bass. I also have the Sentinel short scale bass over there. Let's make sure we tune it. It's definitely not a B. It's an E. It's an E, folks. This thing has a good growl, a good resonance to it. Okay. Let's try that. Let's try that, folks. We'll go back to our head and browser view here. Let's go ahead and save this one. And then we'll do one more new one here. And let's go to our amp, our bass amp sounds. We got some good ones in the Headrush department. So let's go look at the Blue Line bass, the Blue Line Scoop. There's also a 400R, which is kind of neat. We'll go through a headrush cab. There's a flip bass. No, that's not what I want. Sorry. What am I doing? I want a cab, people. Just give me a cab. There's a 1x8 custom. Let's just do the 1x8 right here. Okay. All right, cool. Really, for bass, I mean, I know you can go crazy with bass, but what we are going to do is let's add a compressor in here for that. Let's do like a slammer type thing. All right, something like that. Now we will add in an overdrive. And let's do distortion fuzz. Okay. Slab of meat. Grinder bass OD. Let's do that one. Okay. Now what we're going to do with this is we're going to turn up the drive. Turn down our level. Okay, something like that. But then we're actually going to blend in our bass 50-50 with the block mix. Okay, something like that. We can go back to our level and turn that up. And that's really for the for allowing the low end to not get all distorted. I'll bring it to like 75% block mix there. Okay, pretty cool. We'll turn down the drive. Maybe about 60. Okay, so cool. I like that. So we got the slammer, we have the grinder, you know, all kinds of other meat related type stuff. Let's look at our amp parameters here. We do have a low cut. Okay, we can take that off. We do have a high boost. Okay, there's a mid contour, so if we don't want to scoop the mids, we can keep the mids intact. Or we can scoop the mids. Stuff like that. We can also adjust our low middle and our high middle. Maybe you don't need the drive on all the time. Let's see, we have the slammer on, the grinders next to it. So I know for like the Killers, when we were young, especially in that video I watched today, where they're kind of give the background of the songwriting and the performance and the recording. The guitar player or the bass player was definitely doing a. Right, having it kind of clean, but then you add in the grinder. Yeah, so anytime you can add distortion to a bass, it definitely tightens up the sound and it makes it stick out in the mix just a little bit more, especially in a rock mix. I probably wouldn't want to turn it on too much for like a country thing or a jazz, but definitely if you're in a rock band and you're looking to add more clarity to the overall sound of your bass, then adding in some kind of overdrive and then going to the block mix and just kind of dialing back the wet effect a little bit will go a long way. So versus off, I'll use the pedal. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. Pretty cool. We'll put all these other elements on the same line so we're not feeling lonely down there. And you really don't need a whole lot. You could probably stand to do maybe a stereo doubler. Stuff like that. We can adjust the width. Another really cool riff I like on bass is the come down. Is it Come Down? Yeah, I think it's Come Down by Bush. Yeah, so a doubler, I mean, it does a thing. Now, what's also very cool is, let me bypass that for a moment. We can also go to our, we can go to like a pitch type thing. And we can do like octaves, like an octave pedal. This kind of thing. And we can turn up. Right, it makes it really low. Yeah, I don't like that one. There's one other one I was kind of thinking of. Is it under pitch? There is a drop tune. There's a smart harmony. There's a harmonizer. Let's see what the octaves up thing does. Maybe just adjust the mix a little bit and then change the block mix. Yeah, it really just depends on what you're going for. I'm not going to do any octave stuff in here. nor any stereo. Let's just keep it really basic. I feel like for bass players, you really don't need a whole lot, which is why I think it's funny whenever a new unit comes out. They're like, hey, where's all the bass amps? It's like, how many bass amps do you need? I mean, honestly. I mean, just as long as you got a good full tone. I just don't get why you would need anything. We also have the so all that growl is coming from the bass itself. So it's always best to pick an instrument that gives you the tonality that you want, just the overall sound, and then you can enhance it with effects and stuff like that. But if you don't have a bass that already has that growl, then I don't think there's any amount of effects you can really add that is going to give you the sound that you're going for. Okay, so this is once again, this is the Thunder Gun from Reverend. I will have affiliate links down below to Zound, Sweetwater, and Amazon. So if you do any Christmas shopping between now and Thursday, click on my Amazon link, buy your toilet paper, buy your last-minute batteries, and literally everything you're already going to buy anyways, and just help out the channel by clicking through my link first, and then I'll get a small commission from whatever you buy. So it's just a great way to help support me and all that. And I appreciate the full 2 hours of awesome tones that we created here on the channel in this live stream. You guys were not that talkative tonight, which I'm very sad about, but I'm still glad you're here otherwise. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to do that down below and click the bell so you'll be notified when I release future videos. I do have quite a few footage videos already shot. I just need to edit them and then schedule them. And those will probably more than likely go out in the first of the year. And I also have some other products I need to go ahead and review and get those scheduled out as well. So yeah, I'm loving the Reverend stuff again. I've always loved Reverend, but I kind of got to the Kiesel kick a little too much there and for too long. And I just really appreciate the price point and the features of what Reverend provide. So if you're looking for a great guitar that literally does everything from rock to country to jazz to just literally whatever, then check out the Reverend models. And once again, I will have those affiliate links down below to Sweetwater and Zound, so you can check those out. But really, in the meantime, everyone have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm going to take a good short break for the next week. And I actually go back to work January 5th. Tomorrow will be my last day of work for the break. Then I'll have a good time off. So I will try not to work too hard. I'll probably watch a little bit of basketball here and there. And just relax with the family and enjoy eating and playing games and watching movies and whatever else we do on Christmas break. So appreciate everyone for watching. I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. See you later.